Let's jump in. So first one is according to. So you use according to when you're quoting someone else's words, someone else's research, or another report or another bit of information. So for example, you use this when you're referencing to a different source or authority. So according to the latest market report, demand is expected to increase next quarter. So if you just come across and say, demand for our product is going to increase next quarter. That's very powerful, but that's super risky because what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't? Then your words are not going to hold a lot of weight going forward. So, according to the latest market report, according to this article I read, so sometimes people make the mistake of, like, non-native English speakers make the mistake of not distancing because they want to show that the words are their thoughts, their ideas, they did the research. Well, careful. Unless you know 100%, don't do this. You're going to sound just as professional, just as confident, just as capable if you distance. And it's such a good technique because if you are wrong, if sales do not increase and you said they will, if you said according to the market report, well, then if things don't happen, it's the market report's problem. It's that fault. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. Another one is according to finance, the budget will need to be revised. So you're talking to finance and they say, oof, this budget's really big. We need to revise it. So if you come up into your team saying, listen, we need to revise this budget needs to be revised, then any negative thoughts, any feedback, any disruptions in the team is going to come to you because those are your words. But no, according to finance. So finance said this. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. According to finance, we need to revise our budget. So finance said this, not me. So it's kind of it's softening the connection between finance and the team, and it's definitely taking ownership off the person saying it. This is why we use this. Or according to the legal team, this clause requires more review. So you have a clause in the contract, and you send it to legal to review the contract, and they go, no, you got to review this clause. So everyone's ready to go home. It's Friday evening. Everyone wants to go home. You're delivering bad news. Hey guys, we can't go home until we review this clause in the contract. But if you just say this, we need to do something, all the negative focus is going to be on you. According to legal, we need to revise this. So legal said we have to do this. Again, it's not something I'm saying. I'm just reporting it. This is incredibly important. It still means you're privy to information from legal. It still means you're professional. It still means you know what's going on, but you're distancing yourself from what's being said and yourself. Or according to the customer feedback, delivery times are our major concern. So you have a big town hall. You're talking about what's happening, maybe going through the shipping department, and customers hate how slow delivery is. Fine. So if I say in the meeting, customers are really unhappy with slow delivery. Okay. So I'm delivering bad news and I'm saying customers are really unhappy. Well, maybe customers aren't really unhappy with slow delivery times. Maybe I'm getting the information from a report or talking to Bob in shipping. Maybe they're unhappy with the cost of shipping. Maybe they're unhappy with the tracking app. Whatever. If I'm saying this and I'm not 100% sure, like I didn't do the research myself, I'm just someone else did the research. I'm reading the research and then I'm reporting it to my boss. If there's any area there that could be up for negotiation, or there could be an error there, something could not be hold tight, not be 100% accurate, you want to say according to the customer feedback or according to the report, delivery times are a major concern. The report tells me this. Who made the report? Where did the numbers come from? So you're reporting on what you saw. You're saying, according to the report, this is what it says, but you don't say it as your own words. This is incredibly important, adding in according to. Okay, this next one here is the gold standard of distancing, apparently. You're arranging a big outdoor event for your company, and you check out the forecast, and the forecast says rain tomorrow, 80% chance of rain. So if you go to a crisis meeting saying, listen, it's going to rain tomorrow. The forecast says it's going to rain tomorrow. It's going to rain. We have to move this entire event indoors. So that means you're canceling the tent rental, canceling the chair rental, whatever the case may be. You're going through a lot of trouble to change this plan, to move it from outdoors to indoors. Now, it's 80% chance of rain. That's a high probability. There's still 20% chance it won't rain in there. So let's say you do go through all the effort of this crisis meeting, changing the entire event to an indoor location, and it doesn't rain. Well, you're going to look like an idiot. You said it was going to rain. I mean, obviously, no one can control the weather, but fine, people don't care. People will blame you and they won't trust your word so much going forward. So you just say, apparently, it's going to rain tomorrow. We should probably move the event indoors. We should move the event indoors. And if it doesn't rain, well, you said apparently no one is going to judge you for that bad decision or that statement you made because you fronted it with apparently. This is incredibly strong, useful language. I so recommend you use this a lot in business English. So when information is indirect, so I mean, I'm not a meteorologist. I don't study the weather, right? I'm just relying on an app to tell me what the weather's going to be like. So my information is completely indirect or it's not confirmed. Apparently, company A is merging with company B. Well, I heard it from Sally at the water cooler who works with the driver of the CEO of the parent company. I mean, that's really how many degrees of separation between the source and the information. So when you're sharing information that comes from an indirect source or it's not fully confirmed, apparently is your gold word to use. So apparently the client's reconsidering the contract terms. What how do you know? Well, I didn't talk to the client. No, I heard from someone that they are reconsidering the contract terms. So you just say apparently. Apparently, the client's not very happy with the last shipment. Apparently. So you heard this from the customer service rep, but the manager didn't speak to them. Or maybe the manager spoke with them, but then he told you. So you're just going through three people before it gets to you. So by saying apparently, it's that old telephone game that kids would play. Kids would sit in a circle and they'd say a sentence and then they'd have to whisper that sentence around the circle. It's called telephone or broken telephone. Same kind of thing. I mean, like details can change, information could be added or missed out. And this is very important to say, apparently, in situations like this. Or apparently there were delays at the supply level. So where's the shipment? We need the shipment today. They promised the shipment was going to be in today. Oh, apparently there were delays at the supply level. So I called the warehouse. The warehouse said that when they shipped it, there were some supply issues. That's what they said. Maybe that wasn't the case. That's what they said. That's what they said. So I'm not saying they had supply issues. Well, maybe they dig deeper and it's not a supply issue, but someone told that to you. So by adding apparently, you're ironcladding your professionalism. You're making professionalism bulletproof by saying, I said apparently, and you're passing on information. People appreciate this. This is very, very important. Okay, next one here is it seems that, it appears that. Seem that and appears that, I mean, they're synonyms. They mean the same thing. Appears that is a little bit more formal, but they're perfectly interchangeable. So we use it seems that or it appears that when we're giving our observation on a situation and we don't really have anything to back up our observation, like to support. There's really no certainty there. So it seems that productivity has improved since our last policy change. So we did a policy change, and in your opinion, your observation is that productivity has improved. You have no stats, you have no data. This is just your observation. So it seems that our productivity has improved, but you've nothing to back it up with, nothing to substantiate it with, no evidence, nothing at all, no reports, nothing. But that's your observation, that's your feeling. So this is important to say, but by saying it seems that, you're not saying our productivity has improved since that policy update. That's a huge statement. You're taking a big risk saying that. It seems that, it appears that. So you're just kind of putting a little buffer between you and the words that you're saying. Or it seems that the team misunderstood the deadline. So your team missed a deadline. And instead of saying the team missed the deadline, the team misunderstood the deadline. Well, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. You are just giving your observation. So your team always meets deadlines. It's very strange they didn't meet a deadline. So you assume you're making an observation that they misunderstood the deadline, right? So because they always deliver. This is very strange for them. So it seems that they misunderstood the deadline, or it appears that they misunderstood the deadline. So you're not saying this as fact. They misunderstood the deadline. No, maybe they just missed it. Maybe they just ignored it. But your observation is that they misunderstood it. So by saying it seems that or appears that, you're kind of being a lot softer and distancing yourself because you're just going on, you're feeling your observations of that situation. Another one would be it seems that the competitors are lowering their prices. So maybe you look at your competitor's website, you look at what they're selling on the market, and their prices are lower. Well, if you say our competitors are lowering their prices, that's a big statement. Is that long term? Is that a new standard for them? If you say it appears that our competitors are lowering their prices, or it seems that our competitors are lowering their prices, that's my observation. That's it. I'm not saying I have a report. I'm not saying I've collated all this information. I'm just saying I've seen it, I've observed it. I'm sharing that information with you. Next one is used for forecasts, strategic outlooks, plans. This is huge. This one, expected to. So not saying sales will increase. Sales are going to increase. That's a big statement. If they don't increase, people will be looking at you saying, you said this would happen and it didn't happen. But if you put in expected to, then, if things don't happen, you say, oh, I only said it, I expected they would happen. And again, all this distancing doesn't mean you're not taking ownership for your words. It doesn't mean you're not professional. It's just very, very professional language. Use it, especially if you're doing forecasts, because forecasts are just numbers, right? You don't forecast, no one can see the future. So it's expected that sales will recover by Q3. So based on the data I have, based on the analysis I've done, I expect sales to increase by third quarter. So if you say sales will increase in the third quarter, well, if they don't, people will be looking at you saying, hey, you said this would happen. It didn't happen. So in the eyes of everyone around you, you're going to seem less professional, less knowledgeable. So you just say it's expected sales will increase in the third quarter. And if they don't, well, they didn't. They didn't. And that's fine. You're not going to lose any credibility, but you expected them to and they didn't. That's it. So the ownership is completely off you. This is incredibly important language. And again, you want to include this in reports. There's one thing about speaking in meetings, but a report in the written word is forever. So make sure if you're doing reports to add this distancing language in, because people can go back saying, hey, you said this would happen. This didn't happen. You said they were going to do this. They didn't do that. So if you are actually putting together reports and plans and forecasts, make sure you do use this distancing language in there, because the written word never dies. It's always going to come back to haunt you if you are wrong. It's expected that the new system will be fully operational by June. So we're bringing in a whole new system, and June, it will be ready by June. But things happen, right? So if you say everything will be fully running, the new system will be running and functional in June, that's a huge thing. Anything can happen between now and June. Anything can happen. So everything's expected to be running by June. It's expected the new systems will be fully functional by June. So by saying it's expected, this is what we expect, anything can happen. This is important language. I hope you found this incredibly useful. Adding distancing to your language in business. This is crucial in your business communication. And even if you do make some mistakes at the upper intermediate and advanced level of English, by adding apparently, according to, it seems that, it appears that, or expected to, this really does make your sentences sound so much more professional. Thank you so much for watching.